Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Spring Has Sprung book tag, which was created by the Naughty Librarian. I love her channel. I will have her channel link down below. Check that out. I was tagged by two people, Dane Reeds and Joel Swagman. I believe it was in summertime, and I have been waiting for spring to finally return to finally do this tag. And I do love spring because it's getting warmer finally after the long winter months. And what better way to celebrate spring than doing this great tag that celebrates all things spring and bookish. And the first prompt is flowers. All the flowers we remember are blooming again. Pick a book that's a fresh take on a retelling. And for this one, I haven't read that many retellings. I guess it's not like something I reach for often. I do have a few on my TBR. I have read the Lunar Chronicles, Cinder, which is definitely a new take on a retelling, but that was actually in the original tag by the Naughty Librarian, so I thought of something else, another retelling, and thought of a really good one, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I really love this book. It's a retelling of Homer's Iliad. It has a bit of a LGBT angle to it that I really enjoyed. She really knows how to write characters that I really care about. Such a good story. 2. Cadbury Mini Eggs. Obviously the superior springtime candy of choice. Pick a book that you consider to be a sweet treat. I've never been a fan of Cadbury eggs. I don't know if I've tried mini eggs or not, but a sweet treat for me in book form, that has to be the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. These are ones that I pick up all the time, just for something light and that I know really well. That is just something sweet and tasty that I can come back to anytime. Love this series. I don't know if I would love it reading it the first time now that I'm older, but it has such a special place in my heart from when I did first read it. Now I can read it anytime and I still love it. Okay, 3. Allergies. Seasonal allergies often make your eyes water. Pick a book that made you cry. I think the book that made me cry the most is probably A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, about a young boy that has to deal with his mother having cancer and just all of the feelings that go along with that. And it's quite a journey, and there's this monster that arrives to help him through that journey. And it really is an emotional book, and a lot of people have cancer in their history, family, have been through it with people that they know and care about, and it's just something that's gonna really hit hard for a lot of people, I think. I know my mother had cancer as well, so yeah, it hit deep inside. So yeah, I definitely cried from The Monster Calls. 4. Spring cleaning. Out with the old and in with the new. Pick a book to unhaul. And I recently read what was this for? February Fantasy Stories. Skull Kickers Volume 1, and I didn't really like it. I mean, it was okay, but I have It wasn't my favorite, and I don't have any plans on continuing on with this series. And I don't mind getting rid of this. And it was kind of not very well made. Like, whoa. Like, as soon as I opened it, the whole book started falling apart. That's unfortunate. Yeah. I don't know what's up with that. If it's just like a weird copy or if they were all made not well. Anyways, I'll also be getting rid of volume 2 because, like I said, I'm not really interested in reading on. This one I have not opened yet, so it's not broken and somebody can open it and break it themselves. Prompt 5, Spring Break. It's perfect time for an adventure. Pick a book involving a road trip. I had the hardest time trying to think of a book I've read with a road trip. Really hard. And I finally came up with the most twisted road trip ever. And that would be Nosferatu by Joe Hill. This book has a man named Charlie Manx, and he has this strange car that takes him to Christmas Land. And he takes children to Christmas Land with him. That's a dark and twisted road trip if I've ever heard of one. So I think that's the only road trip book I've ever read, and that's not exactly happy vibes. Prompt 6, Mating Season. It's the time of year in the animal kingdom to make some babies. Pick a book with some smutty delights. I know the naughty librarian likes her smutty delights. I do like reading romance from time to time. I've read quite a few over the years. I had a period of time where it was all I read, just tons and tons of romance. But the most recent one that I have read, I actually loved quite a bit, more than any other romances I've read lately. And that was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Also a great book, summer read. Takes place in Hawaii mostly. Vacation story. Enemies to lovers. Super funny and cute. Number 7, Rainbows. I just like that spring is made of freaking rainbows. Pick a book featuring an LGBTQ character or characters, and I'll go with one I've read rather recently, and that was Manhunt by Gretchen Felcher Martin, because all of the main characters are trans people, mostly trans women and then one trans man, and that's very unique, and I love it. It wasn't my favorite book, but there was a lot to like about it, and I liked most of it. So, Manhunt by Gretchen Felcher Martin definitely had LGBTQ rep, and it had a super terrifying premise with these trans people stuck in this apocalyptic world where men go feral, basically. It's about all of the issues that trans people would have in that kind of situation. 8, Spring Awakening. This is one of my all-time favorite musicals. I've never heard of that musical. Sad. Okay. Even though it's filled with completely dysfunctional characters, pick a book that's also filled with completely dysfunctional characters. I'm picking a book that I absolutely love, even though it is filled with dysfunctional characters. That would be Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. The family in this book has to deal with so many hardships and problems. I would say a couple of the family members are very dysfunctional. Like, it was a lot. But not all of them in the family. Most of them were just a regular family trying to make a hard situation the best that it can be. But yeah, a couple of them were very dysfunctional. Number 9, In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lamb. Pick a series that didn't get better as it progressed. I'm going with an oldie, one I read quite a while ago, at least the first part of the series I read a long time ago, and that is the Fifth Wave series by Rick Yancey. And I read the Fifth Wave after the movie came out. I really liked the movie, ended up really liking the book, and I read the second book shortly after. I remember liking it, but not thinking it was as good as the first one. And then, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I tried to finally read, after a long gap of years, finally read the third book. What is it called? Last Star, or something like that. Can't remember. But the last book, and I couldn't even finish it. Had to DNF it. Maybe if it had been too long and I couldn't remember what had happened in the series. Actually, I'm pretty sure, because I was very confused. Very confused. And I didn't care enough to go back and read 2 other books. So that got DNF'd. It wasn't really catching my interest either. I guess that will happen if you don't know what's going on, though. Anyway, so that's my pick for a book that didn't get better as it went on. And the last prompt is Fun in the Sun, tag some friends. I'm not going to tag anybody specifically, but if you would like to do this tag, then you are tagged. And I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.